Buckle up, we going in.
Clearly, there has been a case of identity theft on this continent. The fraud known as the U.S. has committed atrocities in the name of America, when in actuality, they are neither Americans nor their pale contemporaries. They have perpetuated fraud upon the natives and through social engineering have caused a mental separation of the original and primitive peoples of this continent, specifically the Asiatics of Northwest America. They act as sovereigns when they are at best citizens and or aliens. Some Europeans would argue, I was born here, so that makes me an American, which is a false statement. Your geography doesn't determine your nationality. It is your bloodline, consanguinity, and ancestral lineage that does so. For example, if two Scottish people live in China for 20 years and have 3 children, are those children Chinese or citizens of China? The answer is obvious to anyone with a logical mind. Thus, the saying goes over here in the West. Just because someone steals something from you doesn't make it theirs. Even though they may possess, it still truly doesn't belong to them. However, the true heirs refuse to correct their status and live by the standards of their lineage. So they unwittingly give up their birthright every time they call people American who aren't, and call themselves black, colored, Negro citizens, of which they aren't either. Book reference. What does consanguinity mean? Kinship, blood relationship, the connection or relation of persons descended from the same stock or common ancestor. What does heir at law mean? He who, after his ancestor dies intestate, has a right to all lands, tenements, and hereditaments which belong to him or which he was seized. Book reference. According to the National Mission Statement written by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, this new nation of West African descendants has now come to lawfully link themselves again with the families of nations and to worship under their own vine and fig tree, which have been the inherited birthrights of all man through the descendant nature of their ancient forefathers. This is the true and inalienable inheritance to every member of the human family and nation upon the earth, and the Moorish Americans are a part and parcel of the human family. True history declares that the Moorish Americans, seeds of the ancient Canaanites from the Holy Land of Canaan, are the original inhabitants of all the Americas, whether by legacy or dormant conditions of servitude. No other people can rightfully make this indigenous claim, including the so-called Indian tribes that followed centuries later, save the Moorish nations.